the folks that are here, help me out. Who's been on the trip? Okay, 3 alums, 3 potentials, and we're going to have a whole lot of people who will be watching this after the fact as well.
Great.
This video gets distributed to our online students as well as anyone who's not able to be here today. So we are recording this for all posterity. I'm Courtney Collins. Welcome everybody. I'm the Assistant Director of the Environmental Law Center, and I oversee the summer session program, and I will be your point person for the Montana class as far as logistics, like making sure you got your flights and making sure your housing is set and that you'll be good to go. So what we're going to do today is Professor Colwyn has Skyped in with us out west, and she will talk a little bit about the course, answer any questions that you have, and then we're going to let her go so that you can speak with the veteran students of the course and have a very honest conversation about what really goes down on the hillsides of Montana. So that's the plan. So Professor Colwyn, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, Courtney, for organizing this, and thanks to Zach, Nick, and Stephen for being there to answer questions, and thanks to the 3 of you for coming to listen in person. My name is Chelsea Colwyn, and I am, let's see, I think this will be my 9th summer doing the class. I was a student, I took it as a student, then I TA'd, and then I co-instructed for 5 years, I think, with Zach Tucholsky, Professor Tucholsky, who created the class, and then last year I taught it by myself. So I think I've done it every year except for one since 2011. So I really like doing it. And now I'm currently work as so I live in Colorado, but actually work. Both of my jobs are this job, and then I work during the rest of the year as a staff attorney for the Confederated Salish and Kootenai tribes, whose reservation is an hour north of Missoula, which is where the class takes place. So I actually spend quite a bit of time in western Montana, which is where this class is. It's a beautiful place. Really a special place to spend 2 weeks for a class. And as part of my job, I'm getting to work with a lot of different agencies, which is sort of relevant to this class. Public lands are an issue that's relevant to the tribes. And I also have a background in water law and environmental law. So welcome, come in. Oh, that's like Caitlin and RJ. Hello. Hello. Okay. So, and the other also so it'll be my 9th summer. My husband, Dave, has been on it'll be his 8th summer. He comes on the class, and he is a geologist and a climate scientist, and he does some of the non-legal lectures. Past year's Late Night with Dave, Late Night Dave. We might have to make sure it's not too late so people want to go to sleep. But he'll be on the class for sure this year. And then my daughter, Cassidy, who will be almost 3, it'll be her 3rd year doing the class. But and actually we'll have a 4-month-old baby joining us for his or her first time on the class. So,
yay, congrats.
Thanks. A big reason why Dave comes, and as part of that, we'll probably have some extra reinforcements. So, Austin Anderson, who many of you might know, TA'd last year, and he'll probably TA this year, or if not, we'll have another TA, and then also maybe another co-instructor who is likely to be also a VLS graduate. There's a couple that live here in Colorado who work for the Department of the Interior who might join us, or we're still sorting out who that will be. But I think probably will probably be important to have that extra help this year. But I you say, well, maybe we should just not have the class for a year and just wait until these kids are a little bit older to do it. But it was one of my best experiences, probably my favorite experience at VLS, and I feel the experiential learning is it's such a unique opportunity, especially in the legal profession and in law school, and such an important one, particularly for this topic, that I feel committed to making it happen, even if it's slightly trickier than it has been in the past. So with that introduction, the Montana Field Course is the 2-week class during the 4th term during the summer. This year it's the last 2 weeks in July, so the 20th through the 30th. You want to probably arrive by the Saturday before and plan to leave the Friday after at the earliest. You also might, I think the 4th term is the last term, you might choose to spend some extra time out west since you made it all the way out there, and it's not really easy to get out there. One thing that I'll note is that you do have 3 weeks to do the final exam, so if you want to plan in some extra time out west before you do your exam, there's that, or you can try to do your exam before you get married. Also what I did, which I wouldn't recommend. But yeah, the class is on public land management, and with a real focus on national forests and the U.S. Forest Service as an administrative agency. So it is sort of like there's a lot of administrative law principles and laws that we'll talk about, very specifically applied mostly to the Forest Service, also to the BLM. We talk about that some, but the topics we cover, forest wildfires, climate change, recreation on public lands, logging. We talk about a lot of key environmental laws, NEPA, the ESA, the Wilderness Act. There's a lot. We don't cover everything in public land management because there's so much there, but it's really a pretty in-depth look at the national forests, starting from the early history of public lands in this country and bringing it up to the modern issues, which are unfortunately getting more and more interesting, maybe not in a good way currently. So the first week we camp at a dispersed campsite near the Great Bourbon area, which it's right near the Idaho-Montana border. It's where there was a huge fire now just about a little more than 100 years ago. And you can still see some of the impacts from there, or from that fire. And the second week, we are at a campsite near the Selway Bitterroot Wilderness, so a little bit south of Missoula. We aren't backpacking this year, which we didn't do last year either, but we do take day hikes pretty much every day and have a campsite. Our goal is to have campsites that are not, you're not in a huge campground with tons of other campers. So hopefully it feels remote without being as remote as backpacking would be. The days, so it's Monday through Thursday each week, and then you have Friday through Sunday off. And students there can tell you, many of the students choose to go to Glacier National Park. It's about 3 hours away, or Yellowstone, which is about 4 hours away, for the weekend in between. But then the Monday through Thursday, you're with the class pretty much that whole time. We're out camping Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday nights, both weeks. And the days are full days. We start pretty early in the morning with class, and have lecture for 2 to 3 hours, and then usually go on a day hike to various places in the afternoon, come back, have some time, and eat dinner, and then usually lecture again after after dinner. So it's very, it is a law course. You get 3 credits, which means we got to have a lot of hours of lecture for you to get those 3 credits. So there's time to spend outside, and we do go hiking, but there's not a lot of free time. And let's see, what else? But yeah, I think the key things are that, as you just said, it is a real law course with readings and participation and a class presentation. Experiential learning, the really cool part about this is that you can really see the things we're going to talk about in class. From leftover logging scars to forest fires, to beetle kill, to impacts from recreation. You'll see all of that. And actually we have, last year we had 3 guest lecturers. We'll probably have somewhere around that number again. People who live out there and can provide perspectives that I can't, to really enhance the learning. And as I said, Dave is he's a climate scientist and geologist, so he also tells us about the geology of the area, and can have some pretty in-depth discussion about climate science and other things like that. So it's not just law, there's also some science and policy as well. And of course, any TA or co-instructor that comes will bring whatever their sort of unique background experience is. So you, unlike many law courses, you'll hear from you won't just hear from me, you'll hear from a lot of different people, which provides a lot of, public land management. There's a lot of legal aspects to it, but of course there's the political aspect, there's the scientific aspect. It's really important to sort of get a fuller understanding, fuller picture. A couple notes I would say is that if you are accepted and you do accept a place in the class, it's really important that you make that commitment and keep it, or at least decide quickly not to come, so that people can take the class who want to. It's a hard, you have to get your plane ticket and get everything arranged for you to get out to Montana in the middle of the summer. And so people need at least, a couple months notice in order to plan for that. So it really is, we try to avoid having people drop late, because that means someone else who wanted to take it probably can't take it at that point. And the other thing I would say is that the students who participate are also a really important resource for everyone who's on the class. And oftentimes we get some online or distance learning students who are actually working in the field, and they can provide a really nice perspective from their work experience. And of course, we really welcome everyone to share the knowledge and experience that they have from their own work lives or otherwise. And finally, I would say that it's a really pretty unique opportunity to really spend a lot of time with a small number of your classmates in a setting that's really conducive to bonding. So it's a really great way to get to know some people really well, and have an experience I think is pretty different from most of law school. So I think that's all I need to say. I'm happy to answer any questions that the 3 of you might have.
Any questions? Now's your moment.
What is the application process like, and what are the deadlines for that?
Okay, that's a good question. There's a short application that just asks about your background and your interest in the class. So you fill that out, and along with your resume, send it to Courtney. Courtney will probably send that out.
Yes, I have hard copies available right now. If you wanted to grab one before you left, I'll have hard copies in the ELC for pickup, and I am going to email out a PDF to all students as well.
And I think we have the deadline is March 1st, and you should know really soon after that so you can make your plans for the summer term. So it's, yeah, pretty straightforward. There are some important things you want to make sure about. Certain, you want to make sure you're physically capable to do it. Although it's less of an issue when we went backpacking, there's certain things like if you're allergic to bees, maybe it would be a great candidate for the backpacking course. It's a little less of an issue this time, but it's something that we want to know about. So it's not for yellow jackets exactly.
Still.
Thankfully you weren't.
Other questions?
What were the campsites like? You said it wasn't backpacking, but are they wilderness campsites or are they?
Yeah, so the first week is what we call a dispersed campsite. So it's there's no facilities, there's no bathroom, it's on Forest Service land, and it's clearly been used as a campsite, but it's off a dirt road back there. We saw a few cars go by, but it's otherwise, we didn't see anyone else camping back there, or at least where we were. And then the second week, we'll probably use this campsite again. There's a group campsite that is, an official campsite, but a bit separate, really separate from the main campsite area. And we'll probably actually reserve that this year just to make sure that we get it. But it's a pretty big site, which does have picnic tables and outhouses and fire ring we'll use. So not as remote feeling, but still pretty isolated as far as we didn't see a ton of people for the most part on the hiking site. So yeah, does that answer your question?
Yeah, and one follow-up question: what areas are they in? You said the Great Burn area.
Yeah, and that's it actually in the. So you're going from Missoula up towards Lolo. The sort of famous Lolo hot springs from the river runs through it. It's up that way. I think it's Route 12 up towards the Idaho border, and so it's a Clearwater National Forest, and then the Lolo National Forest, and we actually go back and forth between both. And then the second one is south of Missoula in the Selway. We won't actually camp in the Selway Wilderness, but we'll hike there. Yeah, and these are the Bitterroots. I think it's the Bitterroot National Forest. Maybe the Selway Bitterroot National Forest. It's south of Missoula.
What is the car transportation like once we get there? Are we on our own as far as renting a car to get to the sites, and how much travel is required between the sites?
Great question. So Missoula is a pretty small town. So you fly in and you just need to figure out how to get from the airport to the dorms. That's where sort of the home base where students stay for the 2 weeks when we're not camping. And you can do, it's not tricky to get. You don't need to rent a car to do that.
Okay.
But then for all of the class stuff, we rent a big van and drive together to the campsites, and if we drive to hikes, it's all, you don't need a car. But one thing you do need to sort of be, even though we're not backpacking, you should basically pack like you're backpacking because there's not unlimited space. But you don't and shouldn't, and we don't really want, you don't need your own rental car. If you want to go somewhere in the weekend in the middle, usually people go as a group and coordinate a car rental for that. And the sooner you do it, sometimes the better, I think. I think, were you guys looking at renting an RV for?
I think Julia's got one rental car, but it's because the registration had expired. That's the only reason she got it. Someone messed up.
Wow.
So yeah, rent a car beforehand.
Definitely good.
Yeah. Missoula can be a little tricky in the summer. It's not that big a place, and sometimes demand goes up, so some pre-planning for the weekend in between is not a bad idea. But you don't need any, we'll pick you up and drop you off from the dorms, and so all you have to do is figure out how to get to and from the airport, which is like 15 or 20 minutes from the dorms, so.
So it would be Monday through Thursday at the campsite, and then back to Missoula in the dorm for the weekend, and then back. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, we head out of town usually Monday afternoon, come back Thursday afternoon, both weeks.
Okay.
Any questions? Going once, going twice?
Do you talk to any biologists when you're out there?
We did talk to, he's a bird.
Bird guy.
Yeah, I guess he's a,
Was he an ornithologist? I also did.
Yeah.
He did wildfire.
wildfires, but through bird avian.
Yeah. He was super interesting.
He was,
Many traits.
Remember, he's just making woodpecker calls. He's like, oh,
yeah. So, and hopefully, I think he's high on my list to have speak, so, but that's the only, the biologist, but, yep. Any other questions, or? These students who were there last year can definitely provide you all the answers.
Sorry, I have the two cameras, so I wanted you to be able to see me too. So if you have other questions that come up along the way, just email me. I can probably answer them or get you the answer. So with that, Professor Colwyn, I think we're good.
Great.
Thank you so much for that summary. We're going to log you off now to continue the discussion offline, but thank you so much for your time today. I'm excited. I would like to go to Montana.
Thank all of you guys for being there. Good to see you.
Take care.
Bye.
Take care.
Oh, she's gone. All right, it's gone. It's gone.
Have you seen the recording?
Okay.
Yeah.
We didn't have a second to...
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a reunion of last summer happening right here. Now you guys are included in that. So we're still on the camera, but this is your chance to hear a little bit from the students directly and then ask even more questions about the student experience. So how about it?
I can start. I just thought this was like my favorite class I've been in at law school this whole time. You know, it's a law school class. It's a ton of reading. You guys will print out all your stuff here before you leave and have it in a big binder. Every day you'll have lots of
like
reading
100
to do.
pages.
You do it and then you lecture. But it's really cool because you get to read a statute or you get to read some case law, and instead of just reading it and then lecturing about it, you get to go out and see the stuff that you're reading about. You get to go out and see how what the statutes protect, or type of behavior that you're allowed, and it's just, being able to be out in the field and experience that way for me was just so unique, and it made the whole experience, law school class, very special.
It's a lot of the administrative law stuff from leg reg too, and so it's cool to see all the leg reg stuff in action, and then also be immersed in it and get to see in front of you what they're talking about. And the places you go are ridiculously cool. All day hikes were awesome. I think our year was the first year they didn't do full backpacking, but we still did a lot of hiking.
Oh yes.
And it was really just awesome.
Bring a day pack.
Yeah, day pack, and then have a pack to
Water filter, all that kind of
They
stuff.
send a pretty in-depth packing list.
Mm-hmm.
You guys in environmental law?
Taking a class or
Right now.
Yeah.
Like the Firestone?
Took it last semester.
That's really good. It's useful to have that. And you're an AJD, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how that works with Because you're gonna take a pellet over the summer.
No,
No?
I'm taking time for this.
Cool.
Yeah.
Never mind.
We both took natural resources in the fall.
Oh, with
so
Hillary?
yeah. So like, how? Obviously, besides seeing it applied, how is this different? Like, as far as the course material goes, or just more in depth?
I can't. I haven't taken natural resources, so I
Okay.
can't speak to where their overlap is. But like you said, it's mostly Forest Service, so you don't really get into BLM statutes and everything. But you really go through the history. You learn about everything to do with the Forest Service, basically, and like the Wilderness Act and all those kinds of stuff. You get really in depth, like. And then you see where the policy of like checkerboard, like disbursement, and then you go out and you take a hike and you're like, oh, there it is. Just really, I mean, there probably is some overlap, but I think if you're interested in this topic, it's definitely worthwhile. Chelsea is great. She's so smart. She knows a lot. Her job is really cool. She's a tribal council for the Kootenai Salish Confederated Tribes, so it's a Flathead Reservation, which is right on the border of Glacier National Park. I don't know. It's a great experience. If you like camping at all, you like having a good time with people. We all got along very well. I can't speak. That was probably mostly the makeup of the people. I can't speak to who's going to go on the trip, but it seems like the type of person who wants to go on this trip is a good type of person.
Yeah,
we all got along great. We had so much fun together. Most of us went to Glacier on the weekend, which was fabulous. And then some people stayed in Missoula, and they also had a great time. It's more relaxing, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Missoula's a lot bigger than you.
Oh,
Yeah.
Missoula's so fun.
I think Chelsea downplayed the size a little bit compared to like
they're in
what we're
Boulder.
dealing with here.
Yeah.
Yeah, from a
it's
royal
the university.
I mean,
Yeah.
Missoula's like a
Right
decent
there. That's where
size.
you stay.
Like you can go around and they have like the flea market on the weekend, which is huge, and it could take the whole day. There's great restaurants, great bars.
Yeah.
Missoula's like really cool.
It's a really hip little town, so
And you don't need to have transportation. University of
You can walk
Montana is like
anywhere.
a 10-minute walk,
Yeah.
not even
Yeah.
from city center.
you can walk everywhere. Really fun to stay for a couple days afterwards, too. You can get an Airbnb for super cheap. What do you pay, like $70?
Or camp first,
Or
super
camp.
cheaper.
or just keep on camping. It depends on what you want to do. Yeah.
It's really cool that this is a 3-credit class too, because most of the summer classes are not, and then this one is like it's so much fun that you're like, I can't believe I'm getting 3 credits right
Oh yeah. Yeah. For the summer classes, usually you're aiming for a certain number of credits, and then you take a Friday class, which is 2 credits. But what we did was we didn't take a Friday class because we missed 2 Fridays in Montana. But I took an advanced legal research class, and then the Montana class made up for those credits. Yeah, I can't speak highly enough of Chelsea either, and Dave too. Dave is so knowledgeable about the geology, and it's so fascinating to get that additional perspective of how these mountain ranges were created millions of years ago. We went to the hot springs. He talked about how hot springs work, about the young hot rocks. So he was a really good asset to have, and their little daughter Cass was the best. So don't let the prospect of camping with little children deter you at all. She was a better camper than most of us. She's so chill. She's so chill. She knows what's going on. I mean, she was just about 2 when we were with her, and she was just awesome. And I'm sure their little baby will also be awesome. But I mean, they go camping a lot, and so.
Logistically, it's pretty easy. The 3 of us flew. Burlington connects to Denver, which is really nice, and then we just flew from Denver up to Missoula, and it's probably less than 15 minutes from the airport.
Yeah, you take a taxi or Uber.
Yeah, and if your TA, if it's Austin, he'll have his car there, and he's like a really good taxi service.
Yeah.
As long as you just tip him with, I don't know, Rainier's.
going back to the academic question that you proposed about natural resources too. Yeah. So I took both of them, and I would say that what Montana really gave me, just strictly on the academic side of it, was so when that survey where we do I don't know, there wasn't a lot of grazing, but a lot of the how we kind of touched on just a little bit of wildfire management and just forest service in general. So a couple of the cases, a couple of those big cases, I had already read. So you'll read a couple of those same cases, you already have a background there. But then for Montana, we went 8 to 10 cases deeper and different problems. So you get into more where you get that survey and natural resources of. So it was weird because I kind of did it backwards, where I had more information about the Forest Service.
Yeah.
And we did a little national park, but yeah. So wilderness areas and the Forest Service, I had a huge bunch of knowledge coming from Montana, and so the survey for natural resources, we're covering so many different ones.
Yeah.
You're kind of like, whoa. But now thinking about having that knowledge from natural resources, that survey. I'm going to Utah in a few weeks, and I can only imagine what I'll look for in Utah that I would look if I were going to, say, Montana. This time, if I was doing this class, how much more knowledge and what I would be looking for and different to get an even wider, but still more in-depth experience. Cool. So that to me was really cool. And let alone, this class is what made me kind of. Are you guys 2L?
Right? Both MELPs.
MELPs. Okay, great. So I don't know if you're kind of in that where you're starting to narrow down what it is you want to kind of do to get paid after this. But this class really shaved a lot of those kind of, I think I like some of these things, into focusing on that natural resources. So when I came back, I immediately got into natural resources, knew I wanted to do that, and now I came back with an intense focus on what I wanted to do and eventually get paid for it. And actually came back with more positive, with a kind of a more positive understanding and confidence and knowledge after being out west, coming from the East Coast, because there's a little bit of that divide to say, well, what have you done out west? So I kind of felt like I put some skin in the game for this possibility of going out back to Montana, which I hope to be this summer, working and getting paid.
What's the reading like?
It's a lot of reading, and
Well,
cold works well around a campfire, so you'll get cold calls, but it's not. I mean, you guys all will be bonded, and if you maybe didn't do a full reading, somebody will pick up. But there's a lot of reading.
But you said you're not doing summer classes, but the summer classes are condensed, and so they are more intense, and so you'll find that if you're taking other summer classes, it's not more reading than, we were reading about 80 to 100 pages for every class day, but it's just one class. You're just concentrating on one class, and I think our main issue is that we got along too well, and we'd all want to hang out, and then it would be late night o'clock, and we were like, oh no, we have not done our reading, and so we'd all wake up very early in the morning and read.
And you do a lot of hiking in the day. We had a couple of 10-mile hikes, so it's a lot of hiking. When you come back, you're having to kind of be like, okay, I can't just hang out and take a nap. I got to do my reading for tonight's lecture.
Or if you're hard,
take a nap.
I tried to knock out the first week when I went there before I went, and I got a good couple of days done. I would say try and do as much as you possibly can. It's.
So you guys weren't doing it all before you got there?
Oh no.
Some of it we were just kind of
I didn't do that.
Yeah,
because then you gotta worry about
it all
dark,
out.
and then
It's
you can't read because it's dark.
It's a pretty sizable stack of papers that you print out.
And how quickly did she get that to you? How far in advance?
Oh,
You'll have
okay.
plenty
You
of
can
time
access
to
that
print it
now.
out and get it
Yeah.
out. It's-
Yeah, I don't know
Soon.
how much it'll
If you
change,
ask
but
for
it's still in the 20. Yeah.
Yeah.
Last year was a little bit of a different circumstances because we were supposed to have a different professor other than Chelsea, but he had to not teach it, and so it was a little bit like, oh my, what's the class even going to happen? But I think Chelsea and everyone else did a great job of getting it going. That's why they did backpack last year. Why you're not going to backpack this year? Because Chelsea is the new lead professor. Has her.
You'll have
kids.
access to all the readings probably before the summer starts.
Cool.
Yeah.
Because once you get accepted into the program, then you're like invited to join the twin page, and then the twin page is like everything. Like it'll be like week 1, day 1
Yeah.
folder, and then all the readings in it.
Sweet.
Did you bring your laptops with you, or is it all printed out?
We all print
printed
it out.
out.
I mean, there's no cell phone, especially in the first site. There's no cell phone service, and it's actually amazing to not have cell phone service and to be disconnected from computers and laptops or whatever. I guess you could charge it in the car, but I think
You won't need it.
no. And I think making a conscious decision to just I just ignored my phone the entire 2 weeks I was there. I checked it on the weekends to make sure my family was good, but other than that, I was like, no, get out of here.
Yeah.
Also, going to Glacier was amazing. I would highly recommend it.
And we have a ton of stories that we can tell, but we want to first let you guys ask more questions.
Yes.
I want to say what you specifically want to know, then we can blab about, because there's
We
tons
had
of
such a
stories.
fun time. Yeah.
I had a question about meals. Are they communal or do you cook on your own? How does that work?
Yeah.
We kind of
We started
we didn't have it together in the first week, and
The
then
second
we
week,
had it
yes.
together in the second week.
Um,
But
Okay,
It's on your own,
Had it
but
together
like
back.
everybody usually
Yeah.
is making food together.
Yeah.
you know?
that's more what
It could, yeah. It quickly. So there's a grocery store about a 10-minute walk from the University of Montana campus, and so for the first week we kind of, because I think some people are still under the impression that we were backpacking, so they packed really light. But yeah, you did. But if you can, I think the first week too, we were kind of figuring out the logistics of the camping, and then when we figured it out, and then by the second week, we all knew how much food we were gonna eat, how many snacks we needed, how many goldfish we needed.
And they will also tell you, okay, we're gonna be out this week. You need this many dinners. So you won't be confused by what do I need to bring. It's just working out the logistics of.
Chelsea provides some really good
Yeah.
guidance on. So you can have anywhere from the first week where we pretty much all prepared our own stuff, not knowing each other that well, which I think it's natural that can happen, especially when you're in classes. We didn't really know each other that well going into it, so you kind of just prepared on your own, knowing that we'd be back in Missoula to restock, and it just happened after the first weekend. We all went back and decided, all right, let's split up. You guys on meats, you guys on cheese, you guys on all this other stuff. Then we split it up, and then it just became this huge communal thing. But Chelsea sets it up very well, where you can do anything from you eat your own diet completely separate from what anyone else is eating, to this idea of you share everything with it.
Communal snacks were a big hit. First week, this man brought the best snacks, and he shared, and it was great.
Well, that's because you stole them from the door.
No, not the big goldfish.
Oh, the goldfish.
Yeah, he brought this giant thing of goldfish and these frosted animal crackers, and they were great. You get a lot of food. You're exerting a lot of energy. I mean, even though you're sitting, bring a comfortable camp chair if you go, because you do spend a lot of time sitting around a fire discussing. But then you also, what's really cool, I think what's really cool is on some of the hikes you actually have lecture in the middle of the hike. So the day we talked about the Wilderness Act, we had some lecture in the morning, and then we drove and hiked out to wilderness, and then we sat down and had lecture about wilderness, which was, I thought, awesome. I thought that was really cool.
In the middle of a burn site.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was so cool. Yeah. It
And there's time to do, you know, when you're not lecturing, you can go fish and or hike somewhere else and do all that kind of fun stuff too. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. The Montana, if you do fish, the Montana fishing license is pretty expensive. But on one of our hikes, we did go into Idaho, and these two were legally remote. They weren't.
We were probably on. We're somewhere near.
How isolated is the campground? Are you like near anything, or
No, the
you're
first
out
one,
in the woods?
First one we were pretty isolated. I mean, it's just like, you know, we're in the national forest and it's way up a Forest Service road.
Yeah.
Like, you know, off on the side.
We saw cars over there. They saw 2 cars. They were.
Yeah, I don't know what they were doing. But I mean, it's that type of place where you bring your own toilet paper, you bring a trowel to dig a hole, to go use the restroom.
The second week is more like
Yeah.
there's like 2 outhouses, like a little path that like went through the fire.
And then there's running water to keep that you can whatever water filtration system you use. And then you can also, that stream, you go to the same spot, is incredibly cold, so you can use it to keep stuff cold too. So if you bring like cheese, you can keep your cheese in a plastic bag and keep it cool.
The campsite's not like with like a bunch of other.
Oh, no.
The first,
Yeah,
no.
the second
week kind of, but like you're not near them, or at least we weren't. You know, like there was like a section where you could drive, you know, pull up an RV or whatever, but we weren't near that.
Oh, and then maybe, I don't know if they still do this, but the last day we were at someone's house, and he owns land right in the midst of the Bitter Roots, and he has like an outdoor kitchen and stuff. Kicked Hawaii. It was fabulous because he has another. You get these really interesting like locals, like thoughts and opinions. Like you might talk to someone who works for the Forest Service. No, she doesn't work for the Forest Service, right? The other Chelsea.
No.
Yeah, but she grew up in a Forest Service family, and so has that perspective of Forest Service provides livelihoods to a lot of people out west, especially a lot of rural people. And so, like, you go well beyond just what is the law, and you get really into how this impacts the people who are there. And it's a really interesting perspective.
I can go off that, Caleb, but I want to get back to your your camping idea. As I'll give you just a little to give some perspective, because I'm one of those people that I find. Like, I planned on going backpacking even after hearing a couple rumors of, like, maybe we weren't backpacking. Because I'm very outdoors. When I go camping, I don't want to see a soul. And by the end of the second week, with the experiences that we had gained and stuff, I didn't care. I had so much fun that my thoughts of what we're not backpacking 7 miles from the nearest like possible road. What are you talking about? 2, by the end, 1, we weren't inhibited from having our own seclusion. I mean, in the second week, they were talking about, yes, there's like the possibility of RVs, and they were on another side. We still may or may not have had seen a mountain lion. Around the camp. I'm pretty sure it's a raccoon.
No, it'll definitely a mountain lion. Come on.
Anyways, point being is that I didn't feel, as someone that comes from that sort of, I really like the seclusion, I didn't feel like, I didn't leave wanting of, oh wow, I'm just surrounded by other people that don't know what they're doing on a campsite. I didn't feel like that. And then what Caitlin was talking about the perspectives, and Chelsea was talking about a little bit, I found it really cool because the difference when you're here and you're on campus, you get that at best during the summer classes you get 2 professors that are in practice, and you get like one perspective and you get another perspective that might be slightly different, but it's pretty much the same the whole entire class. From here, we get Chelsea's, and then we get Dave's, who's not a lawyer, doesn't want to be a lawyer, doesn't try and pretend to be a lawyer. So that's great. And then you get other people throughout the system that disagree with each other. So at Kentucky Whitey, I don't remember his name, but Bruce. So Bruce had a very different, as a person who built his own home and had to deal with this forest fire idea, a very different perspective than someone who works in wildlife management. I don't remember what all that guy did.
Yeah, it's a wildfire guy.
But so working through these U.S. Forest Service of how everyone sees it differently. And not only that, but being injected into their story and being able to ask questions. Right when I thought I was kind of leaning towards, I think I agree with this, we would get another presenter where it's like, oh, well, I don't know how I see this. Now I got to go back and think about this. And to me, that was really good.
How many students go?
It's a max of 12. No more than 12.
We had 12 and then I think a couple of dropouts.
Yeah, so 2 dropped out last minute, so we had 10 students. Great size.
I thought I got to run soon, but thank you all very much. Yeah, this is super helpful. I'm really interested.
Yeah, you should definitely
really-
apply.
yeah,
I would
you
highly
are-
recommend. It was like my face. Yeah, I don't think I can take another class at VLS that will top.
Yeah.
I just don't think it will happen.
That's about right.
Peaked.
Do either of you have any other questions? We good? Well, thanks for coming. I'll
I have
get
one
the
more. I have one
you
more
have one more? Yeah.
Is it 2 credits or 3 credits?
3.
3.
Okay.
3 credits.
I thought I saw